Yo, you trying to figure out a way to transport your t-shirts to and from an event? Let's talk about it. What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today we're gonna be talking about these bags right here. More importantly, this is what they look like when they're fully unfolded and stuffed. So with these bags right here, this is how I transport my t-shirts to and from any event. As most of you guys know, I use a t-shirt folder to fold all my t-shirts. So when I fold my t-shirts down to 9x12, I could fit a shitload of t-shirts into this bag right here. Now, there's a lot of people out here that are gonna use containers and totes and bins to transport their t-shirts, and there's nothing wrong with that option either. The issue that I was running into is those bins, like I use them here in my store, I use them in my shop, I use them to store t-shirts in on my shelves, but when it comes to transporting t-shirts, those bins or those totes or those containers are hard-sided, so they're not really forgiving. So whatever you could fit in there and clamp the lid on, that's about as much as you can fit inside there. And those bins aren't perfectly square. They're usually tapered in a little bit, so the base is a little bit smaller than the top is. So no matter how you fold the shirts, it's not going to be symmetrical inside there. So it makes folding and stacking t-shirts a little awkward. Outside of that, let's say you have a bin that's only filled like halfway to the top. That bin with the lid still takes up the same amount of space no matter what the contents is inside of there. These were the issues I was running into whenever I would vend using, you know what containers I'm talking about? They're usually black with the yellow tops. They stack up nicely, but they just take up a lot of space. So what I started using are these Amazon moving bags. If you go on Amazon and type in moving bags, there will be a ton of them that pop up in various sizes. You find the size that fits your needs. I don't know what you fold your t-shirts down to. Like I said, I fold mine down to 9x12. So I needed to make sure I had a bag that was longer than 30 inches. So then that way I could fit 3 full stacks of t-shirts. So if length had to be over 30 inches, width had to be bigger than 12 inches. So I think my bags measure at 14 inches by like 32 inches or something like that. And then as far as height, I think they're 16 inches, 15 or 16 inches tall. This is what it looks like, half full. So I usually write down what's inside the bag, the size. Those are the actual t-shirts that are inside there. On top, on the top side, I write the size down also. So then that way, when I throw these in the back of the truck, I could throw them in there, and let's say this thing's halfway full, it'll smash down. I could put the next bag on top of that. If it's fully full, it's a little forgiving, so I could kind of cram as much stuff as I want inside of there. This is what the bag looks like. They usually come in like a 6-pack or 8-pack. And when they're fully empty, they fold down like this. So if you're using those containers, bins, totes, whatever, when they're empty, you're just stacking them inside of each other, but they still take up the same amount of space. These, when they're empty, like let's say you sold out of your t-shirts, you fold these things down just like this. They fold into each other, boom, and that's it. So it goes from this to this. These things have made my life a whole lot easier whenever I'm vending out in public. Now, is this the only option right here? No, it's not, but they're fairly inexpensive. Like I said, get on Amazon right now on your Prime account and just type in moving bags. You'll see how many different ones. Some of them come with backpack straps. Some of them come with full zippers all the way around. Some just have zippers just on top. But this is how I vend. I throw my t-shirts in here, and then I bring the plastic shelving that you can find at Home Depot or Lowe's, and then I just throw the bags onto those shelves. And since everything is labeled with what's inside, when people are coming in saying, hey, do you got an extra large in this shirt? I know exactly what bag to go to. I know exactly what's inside there. So these bags right here have helped me out. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. I don't get paid by this bag company. I don't get paid by anybody to talk about these things. This is just what I found to work for myself. And like I said, they come in a bunch of different sizes. So let's say you didn't even need this big of a size. You could get the smaller ones. Or let's say you need something bigger than this. They make them bigger than this. You just look for the dimensions that work for yourself. Like I said, for me, I wanted to make sure that I could stack up 3 full stacks of t-shirts inside of there, and I fold my t-shirts to 9x12. So I just wanted to make sure that I had the right size bag for the t-shirts that I fold and bring. And I wanted to make sure that the dimensions fit the shelves that I was bringing also. So if you're looking for bags, looking for shelves, that's what you do, is you measure your t-shirts, what size you're folding them down to, how tall do they stack up, then you buy the bags that match those dimensions, and then you also look at the dimensions of your shelves to make sure they fit on there. Because if you bought a bag that was, let's say, 18 inches in height and your shelves only go to 15 inches, that bag's not gonna slide in there easily. So take down the measurements and buy bags and shelves that match and fit each other. But I just wanted to share this with you guys, especially since I just posted that video about me vending at that Hawaiian festival with the recap. This is how I transported all my t-shirts. I bagged them up, I separated them by size, I separated them by design, I labeled the bags, and then I just threw them in the back of my truck and headed off to the festival. This is convenient for myself. Does this mean this is the only way to do this? No, it's not, but I wanted to share this with you just in case you weren't familiar with what types of bags these are, or if this was even an option. Think of it like some sort of recycled material duffel bag. Kind of like those reusable bags that you would buy in the market. That's kind of what this is in a duffel bag form. Fairly cheap, fairly inexpensive, and a pretty good option if you were looking for something like this. Now, I bought them off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure you could buy them anywhere else, but Amazon is just convenient for all of us. Check it out. They also come in a bunch of different colors, different sizes, so you just buy and look for whatever fits your needs. Now, as far as shelving, I use the plastic shelves, the ones that have like the plastic tubes, and you just kind of keep stacking them on top of each other. You lay the base down, put the tubes as the legs, and then you lay the next shelf down and put the tubes as the legs and keep going all the way up. I use those, and you could buy those at Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever. The reason I use those is because they break down easy. They don't require tools to set up, and they're pretty lightweight. I use them here at my shop. I use them out when I'm vending. Just makes life a lot easier for myself. Now, you might not need any shelves wherever you're vending at. I do this because it's convenient for myself, but you can easily lay these bags on the ground under a table and pull from there too. No big deal. And the other thing people were asking me about was the tablecloths that I use on my tables. I had two 6-foot tables and I had one 4-foot table. Table covers that I use can be found on Amazon too. You type in the size of your table. If you have a 6-foot table, just type in 6-foot table cover, 4-foot table cover, and a bunch of different ones come up. There's elastic ones that are tight, that are really fitted. There's the ones that I use that just kind of drape over and they're kind of like pre-cut to the size of the table. They hang all the way down. They're fairly inexpensive, especially on Amazon. And most of them are made out of polyester, so you can press like your own DTF transfer on them if you wanted to brand them yourself. I see a lot of people doing that, so keep that in mind. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about here, majority of everything I talked about in this video can be found on Amazon. All you have to do is just search for the stuff. Moving bags to find the same bags. Table covers, type in the size of table that you have, what color cover you're looking for, it'll all pop up for you. And when it comes to shelves, you can buy that on Amazon also, or you could just go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's. I even think like Sam's Club and Costco have them too. It's not rocket science. Majority of this shit is common sense. And remember, it's not a literal thing. Like, you don't look up t-shirt bags. Like, these bags aren't made for t-shirts. These bags, I think, are made for like people moving out of their house. So you have to look up moving bags. A lot of people just type in like t-shirt shelves or t-shirt bags. It's not in the literal sense. We're just making this stuff work for our needs. We sell t-shirts. We use these bags to transfer the t-shirts. Same exact thing goes with the shelves. Those shelves are like made for garages. So if you look up t-shirt shelves, nothing's gonna come up. But if you just looked up garage shelving or something like that, then you'll get a bunch of different options. So remember, when you're looking for this stuff, don't look at it in the literal sense of like, this is what I'm using it for, so it has to be called this. No, because I get this same question when people say, hey, what's holding up your heat press? I'm like, I looked up heat press table and I don't see the tables that you use. The tables I use are called workbenches. They're made for garages. They're not made for heat presses. I just chose to put my heat press on it. We're just taking everyday things and making it fit our needs. So keep that in mind when you're searching for things to better your business, all right? Like I said, if you have any questions about anything I talked about, leave it in the comments for me. Follow me on Instagram if you wanted to, at BigBrandoTV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.